Good morning and welcome to Mufc Realist TV. I hope you had a good sleep. It's time to wake up, stretch your legs, stretch your arms, have a tea, have a coffee. Here we go. Good morning, people. Welcome back to Mufc Realist TV on this sad day of recording, 13th of November. It is the Memorial Day. It is the funeral of a legend of this club, Sir Bobby Charlton. And we're here not to just give you the sensational news. We're here to cover this sad day. Is one of the football greatest legends. It's been laid to rest today in Manchester. And there's going to be over 1,000 attendants on this funeral taking place in Manchester Cathedral. And there's one thing what's bothering me, and that is the ownership is not attending this funeral. That tells you everything about the disrespect the owners have for a club, our DNA, our history. And it is what it is. What can we do? I don't see this any further than just being a catastrophic shambles, but we're here to honor the great Sir Bobby Charlton. So how are you all doing, guys? Let me know in the comments what is your feelings. For some reason I don't see the chats coming up here, no comments for some reason, especially here on StreamYard, but I can see you guys commenting on YouTube. So good morning to you, Jamie Wayne. What you're saying, these bastards make me sick. Bobby gave absolutely everything for this club. I can agree with you. It is a repulsive family. And Rice Milk is saying, hey guys, I'm on the train going to the right now, so we don't need them Glazers bastards. What you're saying, if they came at a serious risk, remember Sir Bobby Charlton was a peaceful gentleman. Yes, 100%, he was a peaceful gentleman. Let us all remember. And Ashid is coming here saying, good morning, guys. Hope you're doing well. All good. Yes, all good. It is afternoon where I'm sitting at the moment. So a little bit strange. It's 4 p.m. where I'm sitting, and I'm still suffering regarding this time difference. And I used to be on European timelines. And we did cover this. I did a memorial video for Sir Bobby Charlton because he meant a lot to me as a third generation Manchester United supporter. My grandfather was one of the biggest supporters of Sir Bobby Charlton and Busby Babes. And as a matter of fact, he's from Yugoslavia, and he was at the Belgrade Stadium where Red Star, Crvena Zvezda, what they're called, Red Star Belgrade was playing Manchester United. And it was at the same day with the München disaster, 1958. So yeah, my grandfather never stopped talking about how proud he was to see Sir Bobby Charlton play and score. And this passed over the generations over to my dad. And of course my dad grew up with George Best. If you can see on the Trinity statue outside, you can see Dennis Law and George Best and Sir Bobby, and these are legends, right? So it is with sadness with tears in my eyes to say that how can you disrespect this legend of this club that suffered? They survived the Munich air disaster as well. Like, they laid the foundation. They came back, after this Munich disaster, to go on and win the World Cup for England. How much this legend of the club meant for us, and then to go out and win in Europe, right? Guys, this is absolutely shambles. Linda Warrington, I can see you guys. I cannot see you here in this studio in StreamYard, but I can see the YouTube comments, so I can only read it out. So Compass Murph gets the likes up. 100%, this is not for me. Don't get the likes up for me. Get the likes up for Sir Bobby and his family, with all due respect. Linda Warrington is coming. Have they ever cared? What you're saying, Linda? I can see you. I can feel you. They probably don't know who he was. Disgraceful. And it's absolutely smashing correct what you're saying. How many times have they come and visit, only for the World Cup to mingle? And they ask the question, which one is ours? Are the ones in the white or the red shirts? Seriously. And you're supposed to be the owners, right? Dan Smith is saying what you're saying, Dan Smith. Good morning to you. Fan base accepting Rackliffe with Glazes. I never will unless he was buying the full club now and doing what Sheikh Yassim said he will. That is a funny old story. And I do expect this to unravel further within this boring international break, because we're not here to talk about the takeover. We're just here to respect the great man, the legend, that is having his funeral 2 p.m. at Manchester Cathedral. There's set to be a cortege, happening. There's going to be a lot of people. If you're living in Manchester area, just go down there, pay your respects. And I'm just going to bring this to the news. If you can see this further, I'm just going to read this for One Football app, basically saying, football to bid farewell to Sir Bobby Charlton on this Monday. Today, 100%. Football will pay a tribute to one of the biggest stars on Monday, which is today, to say farewell as Sir Bobby Charlton. He passed away about a month ago. If you do remember also, Ferguson's wife, Kathy, as well, also passed away 1 week before. So it's not been easy for us United fans. But we have to dealt with this season alone, with all these allegations, with Mason Greenwood, with the takeover news, and the Glazers being silent. And Glazers not showing up for this funeral is disrespectful, according to my opinion. But nothing in the Guardian, nothing in the British press to mention anything about this. It's just our fan base are caring. Right? There's thousands expected to be lined up around the streets for the funeral cortege that arrives at Old Trafford this afternoon. Where it's like, they're going to stand outside the Trinity with Dennis Law, George Best, and the United Trinity statue today. They're all going to gather for Chester Road around 1:30 p.m. Guys, I'm so envious. If I was in Manchester right now, I'll probably be there. The cortege will pass through the Guard of Honor, comprising members of the club's under 18s and under 21 squads, and the statue before setting off to the cathedral. So apparently it's going to be a private ceremony. It's going to be about 1,000 people invited, including Sir Alex Ferguson, members of the club's 1968 European Cup winning team. Just imagine the 1968 European Cup winning team as well. Players from the current and first team squad and leading sporting figures are expected to attend this service, which is scheduled to start about 2 p.m. UK time. It's not going to be this is going to be at Canon Nigel Ashworth, which is going to lead this service, and it's not going to be broadcast for some reason. With all due respect, it's not going to be filmed. I do respect that, but I would love to. Some part of me want to be part of saying farewell, but this is the way we can sort of, as a global fan base, take our farewells to say in this live stream as well. There's also going to be members of the former chief executive in David Gill and Manchester United Foundation chief executive John Shields to pay personal tribute for Charlton's family, but not the Glazers. Apparently, what they're saying in this manifesto is there's going to be hymns, including Abide With Me, which traditional song before the FA Cup final, and Jerusalem and Redemption of How Great Thou Art by opera singer Russell Watson. The United statement read, it's expected that up to 1,000 guests will attend in today's cathedral to pay the respects to Sir Bobby and celebrate his incredible life as a husband, as a father, as a grandfather, and of course, one of the finest footballers the England country's ever produced. He was also such a nice gentleman, what I've been hearing. I remember seeing this documentary about this young journalist. I can't really remember his name. He was doing his thesis and he wrote about the 1958 disaster. And back then there was no emails, there were corresponding. He wrote to some of the few survivors, asking the questions, and the only person that responded was Sir Bobby. He was such a gentleman. He was always there caring, and what's been told, up to his passing, he constantly was a frequent visitor around the dressing room and cheering people up and being just the perfect ambassador. So the Charlton family and the Manchester United would like to thank you, including this community. Thank you so much, Sir Bobby, what you have given to my family, my grandfather, my father, and everyone around you. I get nothing more than outloving love and respect for you, Sir Bobby. I got goosebumps by just talking and holding back my tears, because this brings back memories of my grandfather. when I grew up, like, I spent 6 months with my grandparents, and he taught me everything about Manchester United and taught me everything about Sir Bobby. And it was just my United in a way. It was like the secret bond with my grandfather. So maybe I have a strong associations with Sir Bobby Charlton to my roots, to my grandfather that sadly passed away 10 years ago. However, the family has, though, requested in donations in lieu of flowers and series of charity close to Charlton's heart, the Sir Bobby Charlton Foundation and Children's Adventure Farm Trust, the Alzheimer's Society, and Alzheimer's UK. I'm not going to speculate, but it was reported that he was kind of struck by a little bit by Alzheimer's in his latter stages of his life, but he was always alert and always there, like standing in Sir Bobby Charlton's stand, and always being a front figure, like being a great ambassador there is what was like. Apparently he was born in Ashton. He was a midfielder that did about 758 appearances and scored about 249 goals for the Red Devils. I don't like what they say, the Red Devils, say just Manchester United, and a glittering 17 years playing career. And he died at his age of 86, just last month. You must say that he had a good life, though, at the age of 86. What a character, what an ambassador, what a player, He survived the 1958 Munich air disaster and didn't want to really speak about it, right? They claimed the life of 8 of your fellow Busby Bay comrades, right? And they went on further down to win the World Cup with England in 1966. I wasn't born then, but I heard a lot of stories about it. This was alongside with his brother Jack and the European Cup with United 2 years later. For some reason, his brother Jack and him, they were very close, but they stopped communicating for quite a while. Little was it untold why they stopped communicating, but they found each other when he was presented an award ceremony as well, which actually his brother was there to give him the legendary prize. I'm sorry, I'm holding back here. Charlton returned to football to the club in 1984 when he took on a director position. He continued to serve both the football and the country in general as much as he could. And he was there, sadly, to see the takeover, the hostile takeover of the Glazers, Malcolm Glazer. Everything that the club built up, everything that Sir Alex built up, everything that Matt Busby built up was destroyed. All the footballing people vanished, and once the orchestra did take over, Ed Woodward took over, the bankers took over. That was kind of the death dagger to our DNA, to our history. But however, up to date, his stature in this game was reflected, according to my memory and others, with the tributes we poured in after the news of his death. If you just, I wish I was there, like in a Trinity statue, but I've seen pictures, I've seen live footages. It is a sea of flowers and a lot of thank you notes. Sir Alex Ferguson, who guided the club back in the pinnacle of European football under his watchful, described him as a tower of strength, a beacon, right, during his 26-year spell at the helm. Now, Sir Alex Ferguson will be attending this funeral, allegedly so, but not the Glazer families, right? I'm so sad that he didn't see the change. They had to live through that legacy that we have built up with blood, sweat, and tears. And he didn't get to live to see the takeover. No matter if it's, Ineos or, Sheikh Yassim or Qatar, he was truly worth to live through the day to actually see our beloved Reds lift up another Premier League trophy, but it didn't happen. But it still would be remembered in our hearts. People love him because, the Thunderbolt goals. He had like cannon of a left foot and right foot, if I remember the footage that I've seen and what my grandfather described. But it was more than that, my dad used to say that his humanity, his humbleness was his ultimate success, his graceness, his pure gentleman. And that was Sir Bobby, right? That was Sir Bobby, guys. He never used to boast about his own achievements. He didn't like to talk about it. He was always brushing it off, but he was always there to help others to achieve success. So big up to Sir Bobby Charlton, and it is sadness that but it's a relief that he's going to be put to rest today. But what bitters me and what angers me is this bloody Glazers. They don't care. Simply, they don't care. Now, how could you, Glazers? I'm going to go on a rant. How could you? You know who he is. You met him several times, and you don't even bother to hop on a flight, even if the club is paying for it, on a jet, just to say your farewells, to pay the respect to one of the club legends. What kind of people are you? Seriously. I'm sorry if you've been super chatting. I cannot see, there's something wrong with YouTube, but I can see your chats. It's been stopping. Maybe it's the Glazers stopping it. But Ivo Bosic is saying, I can see you, Ivo. I think a poor football killed him. Imagine being Sir Bobby and having to watch the dross we play each week. It's kind of heartbreaking. It is. Dan Smith, the shed end in a small fire at Bobby's last match. He got awarded for his services. 100% Dan Smith. I agree with you. You know, Dan Smith used to go to a lot of Manchester United in the 70s and 80s. We have legacy fans here. We have, you know, new generation, old generation, and the people that remember in the 70s and 80s was at Sir Bobby's last game. He was at the, Dan Smith was saying he was at Sir Bobby's last game league match at Chelsea 1972. I think I was actually born 1972, so you must be old enough. Big up to you, Dan Smith. And I just gave away I'm 51 years of age. I don't look like it, though. Must be the water I'm drinking. But also this club is kind of aging me very, very fast, the way the rate is going right now. Listen, there is something wrong with YouTube today. I hope you can see me. I hope you can hear me. Smash a like if you can hear me. I cannot see your chats for some reason. I can read it through the YouTube channel. Miles O'Reilly, rest in peace, Sir Bobby. You will never be forgotten. 100% all the way with a thank you and a heart from Ireland as well. I can see you, Miles O'Reilly. Listen, I have somebody to call in. Ivo Bosic, I'm 72, baby. Good vintage. We all 1972. That's good vintage. It's like red wine, you know, Evo. Jamie Wayne, even our rivals are showing him more respect than these bastards. 100%. You know, even the rivals are coming to pay the respects. You know, the Scousers, you know, the City fans, the Arsenal fans, you know, but not those leeches. I'm going to bring in Mark to the stream. He's just getting off the subway. He's just calling in, guys. If you want to call in, have your say. I will share the link as well. Adding to the stage is Mark Nurse. How you doing, Mark? Are you there, Mark? Yes, there you are. Can you hear us? Mark, you there? Mark? Yeah, you're frozen, buddy. You're absolutely frozen. Anyway, I got to remove you, and I'm going to invite people to have their say. I'm going to copy it, put it in the description. And I'm going to do it right now. There's something seriously wrong. I don't know if you're gonna get this message. I'm gonna paste it in. Here we go. Boom. Hope it works. No, YouTube doesn't support this at all today. There is something seriously wrong with YouTube on this day. What a shambles, what a mess. There's something wrong here. Mark, are you there? He's frozen. Can you guys hear me? I feel like I'm a Pink Floyd song. Hello, hello. Is there anyone out there? There is something wrong with YouTube today. I do apologize for the technical issues. Please, Thomas Svedjenäs, snälla skicka lite sol och värme till Göteborg. Thomas, can you hear me? Smash a 1 if you can hear me, Thomas. you can hear you. I can read the chat, but for some reason, yeah, Ashid, you can hear it. I cannot display your chat messages. Is something problem? So let's just go with it, guys. Let's talk to me. One, what Thomas is saying. 1 1 1 1. I can hear you guys. Big up, big up, big up. So anyway, there's no football, and we are here to respect. It's going to be 2 weeks international breaks, and I do expect to hear a lot of noise regarding the takeover. We had a lengthy stream about it. We see what will happen. If there's going to be announcement, or if it's British media that is kind of keeping the gravy train rolling. You know, we don't know. It's simply like, certainly by business process, there's got to be some announcement by New York Stock Exchange, and the minority shareholders have not been informed whatsoever as of yet. So I don't know if it's true, what's not true anymore. I'm confused. But at this moment of stage, I am only keeping my powder dry and focusing on the great legend. And hopefully, like, if we're going to talk football, if we just stop for a while, and media's been out to get Manchester United for quite a while this season, and spreading fake news, fake lies, only to create this divide and conquer. Even creating this Eric Ten Hag out movement and stuff like that. And I was laughing the other day when I saw, like, the Newcastle faithfuls giving Trippier shit, because you know Trippier just responded, "What about our injuries? We have a lot of injuries." And I said, "Mate, you don't even know what injuries are about. Look at the United squad. We had half of squad injured, like, over 11, 12, 13, 15 players injured. And Ten Hag has been scraping. We're currently sitting 7 points off City, sitting sixth in the table. It ain't that bad, is it? It ain't that bad. I can understand, like, from the eye test merchants, is that we haven't played the nicest football. Yeah, I agree. It's not been the prettiest football, but it's end of the day, like, to be realist, it's about the points tally. It's about registering the points. And when you look at the five latest games, we're the most informed team at the moment, with registering 4 wins and 1 loss. And even Ten Hag's been registered as the manager of the month, and Onana is second at the Golden Glove nominee for this month as well. So that's kind of sickening, isn't it? At the moment, what Ivo Bosic is saying, it's looking like Sir Jim. At the moment, this is what the media is kind of reporting, but there has not been no concession. The majority of the back end is coming from the British media. I just find it strange because, financially speaking, from a business point of view, even if you are a minority investor, you cannot pump in your own money, unless you find in a loophole. Like, they've been reporting contradictory figures, like he's going to pump in 350. And I've said, wait a minute. If you're buying in yourself a share, like, 25% shareholders, and what gives you the right to, yeah, you got to appoint a sporting director 100%. But David Ornstein was also saying, perhaps this ain't gonna be that fast. Well, hang on a second. What do you mean? So you're gonna keep, the current establishment, and you're just gonna buy yourself in for fun? I don't think so. I don't think you just pump in 1.4, 1.5 billion just to have a seat there, to have fun. Yeah, I'm just waiting for New York Stock Exchange to see, like, how it will be reacting, because I can only go by the report that the New York Times or Financial Times had an interview with Nick Train, by the way, which is one of the biggest Class A shareholders, and they are the ones that actually blocked it in the first place. And when Sir Jim was bidding for the 69%, they blocked it and threatened with legal allegations. So he's went down to 51 to now 25, a minority investor, which doesn't really make sense to me, like, because we went down this route before, guys, like, where they looked at the financial hedge funds, like, the big ones, the sharks that came in and offered and bid it. So why didn't the Glazers go for 25% then? And then Qatar put a strong bid in, which has been reported well over 6 billion, right? And a full sale takeover, cash in hand, no complications. And why are they now listening to the 25%? Is that maybe they see something for the future, maybe pay now, buy me later, but we have to see a clause in that contract that guarantees the path to the golden glory, that we will be bought at 100%. No Glazes here. And it saddens me to see that Glazers are not even attending this funeral, right? That don't really care about us, right? They've been keeping silent for a while. And I don't want to see a 25%. Personally, this is my personal opinion. I have nothing against Sir Jim Rackliffe or Ineos. And as a matter of fact, if he came in 2 years ago with the same proposal, I'd take it. I 100% will take it. But now we've seen the manifestos. Now we've seen what we might be missing out on, what we might be getting. And it's so unclear. There's so many questions and answers that needs to be held here, right? We deserve answers, right? So what does this mean if you're going on 25%? Certainly you cannot just be one of the class B holders, or you got to buy half. It's so unclear how Sir Jim Rackliffe has structured this deal. Majority of what's coming out right now is from this British sports journalist and publication Independent and Guardians, and and we've seen it so many times before in this 12 months period how inaccurate it's been. It's just been like treating it like a transfer window, but I'm seeing it more from a holistic perspective, from a business transaction more than a transfer window. And I just want to keep my powder dry, because realistically speaking, being a realist, nothing is signed, sealed, and delivered until Rain Group and the Glazers actually come up with a statement through the club. And so far, we have not seen it. It's been majority of the British gravy train journalists been reporting most likely 25%. No, most likely it's going to be announced this week. Most likely, and it's going to be announced on New York Stock Exchange. So I find it really remarkable, and it doesn't really compute in my head. It's been around in mergers and acquisition for a very long time, and I don't see 92 Holding either been coming out with a concession statement. Usually they would, right? They would. They're a proud nation. They went out to say we are going out to bid, for 100% of Manchester United. At the end of the day, it's a high stake poker game. It's a high stake poker game, billionaires game. It's a squid game, right? It's either bluff or call. You call the bluff. They know the Glazers need to sell. They know, we've seen all the financial reports. The balance scorecard sheet doesn't lie. The debt is higher than actually the profits at the moment. We actually made a loss. So the Glazers need to sell. They even took 300 million out from Santander Bank to actually for the transfer market. So all this debt needs to be repaid by 2025 or the club isn't screwed. So how is Sir Jim Rackliffe going to do that? He's not even allowed to clear that debt either, and it's 25%, So I'm very curious what this 1.4 is going to. It's going directly into the Glazers' pocket to buy out Darcy and everyone else. But what about the debts? What about clearing this? What about the infrastructure? I'm sure there's a lot of answer that needs to be answered first, and a lot of questions before I'm convinced, right? So excuse me for keeping this real. Excuse me for keeping this powder dry to say ain't over until the fat lady sings, guys. So Thomas is saying here, I can see you. Mick, hang on, let's catch up with the chat. Ivo Bosic is saying here, I can see you, Ivo. I can see you guys. Please, guys, if you see this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that notification button. I know it's early morning for some of you in UK. Ivo Bosic is saying here, only way Sir Jim Rackliffe would pumping his own money in to us would be if he came to an agreement where he could buy out Glazes by certain time and get full ownership. Especially in the Glazers spent 100%. Ivo, you mentioned a very, very valid point. It's like, Ivo, I come to you and I say, I'm going to buy your house, Ivo, but I'm going to lease it for now for 3 years, but in 3 years time, you're going to get your full and even more evaluation. But in the meantime, I'm going to pimp up your house. I'm going to install a theme park, swimming pools. You don't care. You just want your money as the owner, right? But thank you for pumping in all this money. You're going to increase the valuation in overall, or they might come to a cahoots agreement that, yeah, you might invest now and we will sell the club within the 3 years once the evaluation of the club, because they can see, TV money, broadcast money, potentially Super Cup coming back. Actually, no, I retract that Super Cup, because the only ones that's left in is the Real Madrid club still, and Barcelona still yapping it down the tree. But I can see that Champions League next season is going to be a different format to consolidate that, Super European Cup. You know what I mean? So Big up to all of you for coming in here raw, for being real at the end of the day. Darren Young, you coming in here as well. This disgusting and despicable people not attending Sir Bobby's funeral. Sir Bobby was the biggest player and legend in the club's history. 100% agree with you, my friend. And if I was in Greater Manchester area today, I would certainly stay there for hours and hours and soak it in, right? Eva Bosses, you say Sir Jim can't clear the debt until he becomes a majority owner, for what I've heard. Yeah, that is the rules. And then you also abide by Cayman Islands rules as well, like, fair trade. Everyone needs to have a fair buyout, right? And what about the buyout clauses, right? If you're buying out, like, a amount of Class B and Class A shares, there's got to be an earn out clause. And of course there's, I think it's 31 minority investments and retail shareholders. Imagine if you're holding the shares, you also want to get payout. So we will see how this will transpire, but I certainly smell that something doesn't add up in this story, right? So I've been covering this for way too long not to get fooled. Like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, a fool can't be fooled again. What George Bush was saying, George Bush Jr. Remember that speech he held, guys. Jamie, when was you saying the leaks is all you're seeing are from the Glazers? They didn't sign the NDA. This is what Jamie is saying. So they can put out whatever they want to turn this to a PR noshfest. Valid point. The Glazers did not sign the NDA. The Glazers has been seen, spotted whenever there was Qatar World Cup, mingling down there with the royal billionaire elite. Remember, there is a certain, classes of billionaires, and the Glazers are at the bottom of that pyramid. On the top of that pyramid, you have the sheikhs, the royal families of Abu Dhabi, the Saudi Arabia, MBS, you have the Qataris, you have the Rothschilds, you have all of them. They are at the top of that food chain, right? But you saw the Glazes were pimping out the club. They were mingling with the royals down there in the World Cup. And certainly they were not there to watch football. They were there to promote, to get 100% full sale. And why would you then hire Rain Group to then settle for 25% minority investment? That does not make sense. You could have done that without the Rain Group, right? I don't know if you agree with me, but at the end of the day, it turns out to be ridiculous. Joel and Avram was spotted, like, staying behind weeks and traveling, communicating commuting back and forward to Doha just to have a gentleman's agreement. But still, they went out to the process to see for minority investors and full sale only. And this instance, Qatar felt like they're the only one that's been bidding for high, 100%. So they felt like, hang on, is this Sir Jim Rackliffe for real? Like, they've been watching it, like, going from 69 to 51 to 29. And you know what? Maybe it's a sort of a Glazes strategy to say, like, and it's a high stake poker game, like, because Glazes also went to Nasser Al Khalifi, who is, royal himself, well connected to Sheikh Yassim's there, to beg him to come back and bid for more. If you remember an article on the 4th of June, there was same article by the British media to say the Sheikh Yassim 92 Holding Foundation are threatening to walk away. Basically, they don't want to bid any further. If they put a 6 billion pounds on the table, and they feel that the only one that's been bidding for 100%, they're not mugs. They're not going to overbid themselves. In terms of the process, yes, they might have withdrawn from the process. They might have say, we're not going to be entertaining this any further. The cards on the table, let's call the bluff. They know the Glazes needs money. They know the Glazes needs to sell. We've seen the financial reports. The Buccaneers is in dire straits. And at the end of the day, money talks, what we know with the Glazeonomics. So in the long term, this 25%, according to my opinion, does not make any sense because they need cash right now. I'm going to put in callers to the stage. I have one caller coming in. Mark, are you there, my friend?
Hey, what's up? How's everything going?
Good. Disastrous, my friend, because the YouTube chat doesn't work in StreamYard, and you keep freezing. I don't know what's going on. I tried to
Very
paste the link,
disastrous.
and the more disastrous is the Glazers are not coming to the funeral today to honor one of the
No,
footballing greatest.
it's a bit difficult because at the end of the day, it's like they can't even take time to respect the great of the club. You know what I mean? It's the history of the club. They own this club. They bought this club. as the owners, you have to lead by a certain example. You have to have a certain modicum of respect. You know what I mean? A bit of honor about yourself. These guys don't show any of that.
Yeah, 100%, 100%,
So,
mate. So, in all general, I mean, what would be your message to the Glazers right now, for as a United fan? Like, if you had Joel and Avram in front of your face, what would you say without cussing too much because of YouTube
get
algorithm?
get on the Concord. If you can't get
Get
on
on
the
the
Concord right now, then sell the club
newsflash.
today.
Newsflash: Concord stopped in service about 20 years ago, my friend.
Yeah, well, that's probably for public service. You never know. They could probably have someone who, lease it for a private rental, a
Yeah,
one-time
yeah,
trip.
that goes on the
They
club's
just need
bill.
it one way. Yeah, they just
That
need it
goes on the
one
club
way.
invoice. It
Yeah, we
just goes on
paid
the club.
500,000. We paid 500,000 for them to come to our finals for the Carabao Cup. 500,000 for the funeral. I'm okay with that. You know what I mean?
No.
That makes no
Why would
sense.
you pay? No, 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 no. Why would you pay the Glazers 500,000 to come to attend the funeral? You should come without even being paid to come.
Well,
That's the thing.
well, I mean, we're not paying them to come, but they paid for the private flight with 500,000. You know what I mean? The bookings for
Yeah,
the private jet they use to go to the finals. Those travel accommodations cost that much. Now, I was mad that it cost that much for them to go watch the finals. But if they spent that money to fly to the funeral just so that they were present and show respect, I would understand that even more than I understand
yeah.
how they flew to the final, because you know what I mean. It's not like if we won the Prem. I understand it's a cup
No.
that we haven't won anything in some years, but at the same time, this is more important to me as a fan.
Yeah.
This funeral, this guy is the legend. He is Mr. Manu. You know what I mean?
He is
So
Mr. Manu. Surviving the air disaster in 1958 to go and win the European Cup and to win the World Cup with England. Like, come on, to be part of the rebuild of the new Manchester United. To have a Trinity statue raised against, with Dennis Law, and God, I'm so emotional about now. And Bestie as well. I mean, come on, dude. And just to sort of come up with this spinster that to get their body in Rackliffe, just to silence the protest, like just to divide and conquer. Look what we are giving you. We're giving you 25%. Oh, and by the way, you might have a sporting director, yay, and probably a new CEO. And by the way,
yay.
Joel's still going to be on the board. He's going to still be on both boards. He's going to be on
Exactly.
the commercial board and the sporting operations board. Right? What the
I have a
hell?
question, Nick.
What's
I have a
changed?
question. I have a question. I don't know, but
Yes.
I have a question, a bigger question, right? Isn't this new prospective buyer and owner a Man United fan? Where is Sir Jim
Yes.
Rackliffe? Is he attending the funeral?
Oh, good question.
I mean, if he's
Mark
a
Mark
fan,
is saying if Sir Jim Rackliffe is a fan, a lifelong fan, he should attend the funerals today. So let's keep an eye for that if he is invited or he will be, because there's nothing to say in this report that he's going to be there. You know?
exactly, exactly. Because if you're a fan and you're trying to buy the club, this is like a big step. You know what I mean? This is something that will show solidarity. Even if fans don't like you, they will still have a certain respect that you attended the funeral. You know what I mean, Nick? It's just
I know
about
what you mean.
let's see if these guys got the balls to back up their talk, because they've been talking, and they're not
Yeah.
backing it up. It's a lot of speculation, and even
Yeah.
so, if I don't believe it,
100%,
it's
100%, my
still
friend.
it's it's still ridiculous, But even if I can't think of it, why the media isn't asking these questions? Like, where's the Glazers?
Yeah, I mean,
Where's the new owner, the
am
Ratcliffe?
I
Where's the possible
am I
fans?
the only one asking the hard questions when nobody's doing? Like, and at the end of the day, you get ridiculed on Twitter, on social. So you better be quiet. Don't ask the hard, just accept it. But I got to ask the
Exactly.
questions. You know,
You
there's a
must.
lot
You
of things
must.
that needs to be answered, right? Good call, Mark, what Ivo
Yeah.
Bosic is saying. Given the cost of flying, what Ivo is saying, better not to for them to show, because why pay for them to come to attend a funeral? It's another 500,000, like off, and it's so hard to not to cuss in this moment because I'm so angry and emotional.
I can only laugh right now, yes, Nick, because It just shows when they talk, when all of them spouting the nonsense about their fans of the club and they're emotionally attached.
Yeah,
It's a bunch of drivel, you know, nonsense. Just to wind up fans and make fans feel like, they really they really care about anything when they don't actually care
yeah,
about anything. I believe,
yeah.
and in my honest opinion, if the streets had buy the club, he would have been there. That feel all over this would have been like the suffer kings.
Right.
I tell
Listen,
you
big up,
some
Mark.
things. They have
I
been
can
stuck.
hardly hear you. I can hardly hear you, but
Catch
you
you
are
guys later.
somewhere in Düsseldorf, Germany. I'm just going to read out Jamie Vane, what he's saying. How do you think Lockhurst and everyone else being informed the Glazers are stirring the pot? They can leak fake stories because they didn't sign anything about the end. 16 signed the NDAs. Man, this is Glazenomics, like, PR machine. Like, we've seen it so many. It's the Pied Piper, and they are master confusing, the master spinning with Neil Ashton there sitting there. So I wouldn't be surprised. This is just a lot of smoke without fire. We will see. We will see, because a lot of these gravy train stenographers are saying that do expect announcement because of the financial, strategic review is about to end. It's been 1 year since Thanksgiving since they announced, but I keep saying, well, bidders are expecting feedback by the 22nd, 23rd, not who will be announced, because by then they have actually evaluated all the bids, right? Because if you look at it logistically, Sir Jim Rackliffe has been the one that's been stalling this whole process by restructuring his bid, going from 69 to 51 to 25. And the latest one with 25 was 1.5 months ago. He had time to sort of put that bid into the table. They weren't reporting they're going to discuss it in the financial board meeting, which never took place. Now, at least they actually got this bid in time, and now it's under review. That's what it is. But it's somehow been taken out of context, according to my opinion, that he's the preferred winner. We've seen this so many times, like, who's leading the race, who's the preferred winner, but nobody really knows, right? Hunky dory days. So the proof will be in the pudding at the end of the day. I mean, if it's 25% Radcliffe, would you accept it?
I
Mark,
wouldn't.
you wouldn't.
I would live with it.
I wouldn't either.
If that's the only thing, I would live with it. Because
I
I mean,
wouldn't.
if there's no other option, then I'd take that. Because then it at least probably might improve something, and that's just me having like wild hope. But other than that, I wouldn't accept that because to me it makes no sense. It's just another
Yeah.
thing that's keeping the Glazers in power at the club,
No,
and
I wouldn't accept, but what I want to see before I accept it, I want to see a clear communication. What is this about? If it's the Ineos, right? If they are successful, I want to see a clear path,
still run from the top. Yeah,
a
yeah.
clear path, a road path. What is this entitled? And because we still have,
Make I
as United fans, have to scrutinize. Okay, cheers, buddy.
I got adjustment. Catch you guys
Okay,
later.
cheers for coming in, for calling in, my friend. Thank you for supporting, guys. Big smash alike, because what I was saying, just to finish off, to round up this thing, like, I am not against the Ineos bid. I'm just against the 25%, because what I want to see is a clear structure, a clear communication. What does this entitle? If this is the successful bid, so far nobody has been a winning bid. Nothing has been confirmed from the Glazers. Nothing has been confirmed from the Rainier Group. All we are waiting for is the result of the strategic review, where both bidders are waiting for feedback, guys. That is where my stance is. And until then, I will keep my powder dry, and I will still scrutinize every bidder that's going for Manchester United, even if it's Sheikh Yassim 100%, or even if it's 25%. At this channel, we've been fighting for the Glazes out, 100% wholesale only, ever since it started. And I still back that up, to be honest. Jamie Wayne, what you're saying here is basically... Oh, actually, Scott at the wheel. Sorry about that. We have technical issues. I can only read from the YouTube chat, but I cannot display before we close the shop. Scott at the wheel saying the leaks are coming from everywhere. Even the roof is leaking. That's the story. Yeah, pathetically speaking. Yes, you're absolutely right. Good call, Mick. But Evo is saying, Jamie Wayne, what you're saying, Ramos claiming that Qataris are out, but... Well, no, not Romano. Sorry, yeah, sorry, dyslexic here. Romano is claiming that Qatar is out, but who informed him? Guaranteed that don't have Qatar links, because 92 don't. put statements of if they haven't got. Yes, I can read that. It's all messed up. My dyslexic eyes are reading all over the way. I'm getting cross-eyed here. But you know what? I don't want to talk about that anymore. I want to remember Sir Bobby, and let us see what these 2 weeks will be transpiring, what they've been saying, that there might be an announcement. There might be. We will see. Anyway, it is green and gold until we are announced and sold. Remember that. Right now, I said no to Ratcliffe because of the 25%. If you're a Manchester United fan, you didn't read the room what most of United fan wants. If the 25% is successful, we want to know what is your attention, no other than your manifesto to say to put Manchester back into Manchester United. That sounds so ridiculous. So our global fan base is outside Manchester, majority. So you're saying like Manchester back into Manchester? Please, please, please. Green and golden till you saw. Guys, smash a like. Give us a glazes out in the chat. Raise your voice in over to the fat ladies. Things. Guys, have a fantastic day of this Monday. And please, for all the respect for Sir Bobby Charlton's family, this is our salute. We respect you. We love you, Sir Bobby. And thank you for everything that you've done for this club. And don't let the Glazes destroy you. 100%. Guys, tune in later on. It is going to be Jarvis's Corner. I think it's going to be 8 p.m. today. It's going to be Jarvis Cocker together with legendary Andy Tate, the usual suspects, coming in raw. Please, I will put that link later on. But do enjoy the rest of your day. And thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting us. Keep strong and keep fighting. It is united against the Glazers. Lots of love from MUFC Realist TV, Bobby Charlton. Bye for now, guys. Enjoy your day.